So they click on your tag and they see your profile and they don't really know what they're looking at. What is up, photo fam? Luis Rocha here at the Luis Rocha on Instagram, and today we're going to be talking about Instagram. You're a good photographer, right? Of course you are. You know that. Your friends know that. Your followers know that. But you're feeling kind of stuck on Instagram and you don't really know what you could do to get bigger, to get a little more traction on there. You have a great camera, you have a bunch of awesome lenses, you take great photos, take a lot of pride in your editing, you have your signature look nailed down, you know who you are as a photographer and you're comfortable with it, you're happy, you're stoked with your work, you feel like you're crushing it, but you're still kind of stuck at around 500 followers and you don't know why. Of those 500 followers, 450 are friends, family, or acquaintances, and you have about 50 followers that have stumbled upon you. You don't know them, but they liked your work and decided to follow you. Sometimes certain posts of yours will blow up, but again, you just never seem to get traction. How can an account that curates photos repost your photo, tag you, and give you all the appropriate credit, but at most you get 2 or 3 followers from that? How does that work? The picture got like 10,000 likes. Shouldn't you be getting, at least a couple thousand followers? You are probably making the same mistake that I made on Instagram for years and years and years. That was killing my growth. I wasn't able to get any traction because I didn't figure this one thing out. I know how frustrating it can be to feel like you're on top of your photo game, but no one really seems to care. It just gets lost in the endless amount of photos on Instagram and you're kind of ready to give up. Well, don't give up just yet. So I've been shooting professionally for about 10 years now, and I've had an Instagram for about the same amount of time. And if you guys were on Instagram back then when I was, like in 2011-ish, you remember it was almost kind of a sin to post photos that weren't taken on your iPhone. Some people kind of started putting DSLR photos on Instagram and it was heavily looked down upon, but now, the landscape couldn't be more different. It's almost exclusively DSLR photos. So back in the early days of the social network, you'd make an Instagram, you'd follow your friends and family, and you'd post pictures of your quiche or your coffee, post a picture of your puppy, iPhone-only photos, edited exclusively on the app, and you would just kind of share a slice of your life. You'd go on vacation here, you'd go get coffee over there, and all of that would kind of just go on your Instagram with X Pro 2 or Gotham or any other of those old school filters. Eventually, it stopped being weird to post photos from your DSLR on Instagram, and it kind of became the norm. So you, of course, being the professional photographer that you are, want to share your work, you want to get more eyes on it, you want to see what gets more likes, what gets less likes, and kind of see what people are responding to. You go to Hawaii on vacation, you take an epic landscape, you post that. You get a new 50mm 1.2 lens, take a super sick photo at 1.2 of your cat. It looks awesome. The depth of field is so shallow, so you throw that on Instagram too. You go to your cousin's wedding, you get a photo, boom, that goes on Instagram. Oh, and then you booked a gig over the weekend, so you shoot that and you put that on Instagram as well and kind of advertise your services. But the next day, you're posting the coffee that you got down the street. Day after that, you post a picture of brunch, and then the day after that, you book another gig, so you post a portrait from that session as well, and you kind of advertise your services. If this story and narrative sounds disjointed, it's because it is. You're not presenting your feed or your grid, which is your portfolio these days, with a concise narrative and a strong branding that stays consistent throughout. You just kind of upload cool photos that you take here and there without much thought other than, is it a good photo? Yep, all right, let's throw it on Instagram. And your friends and family, they're your friends and family, so they dig it. They want to see the quiche that you had last week at brunch. They want to see the Hawaiian sunset. They want to see your swanky Hawaiian shirt at your cousin's wedding. They love it. They love you. They want to see all that stuff. And in the same vein, when you post your work, they support it, they like it, they tell you, awesome job, you really crushed this portrait session. But then what happens is, one of your portraits gets picked up by one of those curation accounts that posts the best photos that they find on Instagram. They pick it up, they say, hey, this photo was taken by Billy123, go follow him. This is one of the best portraits we've seen on Instagram this month. And that account has tens and thousands of followers, so they all like the photo. And then a lot of those people go even further and they say, hey, this photo is really good. I bet the rest of this guy's work is just as good. I'd probably like to follow him. So they click on your tag and they see your profile and they don't really know what they're looking at. They see a few sprinkles of your professional work among a bunch of different photos that don't have a clear narrative. They're thinking, this guy's a professional portrait photographer, but his Instagram isn't really showing that, and I'm confused, so I'm gonna dip and I'm not gonna follow him right now. I'm sure that's what ran through people's heads for years and years as they looked through my Instagram, and there's a good chance that's happening to you if you're struggling with growth. You are stagnant on Instagram because you don't have a niche. Niche, adjective, denoting or relating to products, services, or interests that appeal to a small, specialized section of the population. You're not focusing on your core competency that's gonna be driving follows, likes, and engagements on your account. So how can we fix this? What do we do about this? How do we start making your Instagram grow? Step 1, pick your niche. Now, the easiest way to do this is think about your goal on Instagram. What makes you take your Instagram more seriously than an average user? Usually this has to do with a business of yours. Whether you're a hairdresser, a cook, a professional photographer for hire, a wedding photographer, you put a lot of time and care into your Instagram because you think it's best for business. And it really is. Instagram is a great tool for business. It lets you talk to your potential customers directly, keep them updated in real time, and it allows you to show off your work on a native platform that hundreds and millions of people are already on. But if you're doing it wrong, it's not gonna drive growth, it's just gonna frustrate you. So let's say you make most of your money doing concert photography. Concert photography should be the only thing that you focus on your grid. I don't care if you went on vacation and you got a picture of the best sunset ever on this crazy 1 bajillion megapixel camera that you know is the best shot you've ever taken, keep it off your feed. It shouldn't be there, it should not be on your grid. Your specialty is concerts and your grid needs to reflect that. Now, what you can do with that awesome vacation photo or really cute picture of your dog is put it in a highlight. Make a highlight called vacations. Make a highlight called dogs. And using that highlight, you can show a little bit more of your personality to your followers and show them some of the other things that you like to do in life too, other than concerts. But what you're accomplishing by separating your personal and professional content like this is you are giving your grid a really strong and consistent look, and anyone can look at your grid for 2 seconds and know exactly what you're about and determine if they want to follow you or not. A stranger stumbles on your account and thinks, hey, I like concert photography, I'm gonna follow this guy. Then as they get to know you more and they get more invested not only in your work but in your brand as a whole, they see pictures of other parts of your life on your stories and on your highlights, and they feel more invested in you. They feel closer to you as a professional photographer. But to kind of simplify everything, you need a niche because you need to be able to communicate to people instantly what your account is about. This is especially important if you're trying to use Instagram to generate new clients and new leads. Step 2, make good use of the space in your bio. Use your bio to tell people what they can expect from your account. So in the concert photography example, I would devote one line in your bio to say, concerts and festivals in California. This reinforces a new follower's understanding of what you're all about and what they can expect to see on your feed. It's just another way to really encourage them to follow you. And step 3, most importantly, is be consistent 99% of the time. Now, having a niche doesn't mean that you need to have this militant view of your grid and that you can't have any more fun. Special occasions do come up, and over time, as your followers get to know you, it's stuff that they get really excited about. So when something important happens in your life, devote a post to commemorate the milestone. You can still have fun on Instagram. You can still be you. But unless it's one of those really important milestones, be consistent with your grid. Your new followers are gonna love it, they're gonna love your work, they're gonna continue to enjoy seeing it, and it's going to drive growth as your account gets seen as more of a niche account and a specialty account for people who are seeking out that specific niche. Whether you make vegan cupcakes for people that live in Oregon, or whether you are a hairdresser that specializes in pink extensions in Seattle, or if you're a photographer who's passionate about cameras and tech in San Diego, that's me. Make that your niche and make sure that people who stumble on your account understand your branding very quickly and decide to give you a follow. The example I gave of a concert photographer in the video is actually real because I used to be a concert photographer. It was my favorite thing to do. I wanted to book more shows and I thought Instagram was a good way to generate more leads and more bookings, but I was just doing it all wrong. I was posting an epic photo from EDC, but then my next 6 posts would be of landscapes in San Francisco or of a portrait shoot for a clothing company. And it wasn't consistent enough for people. My Instagram was stagnant for so long because my grid didn't have a consistent voice. People didn't know who I was. They didn't know what I enjoyed shooting the most. And that's my fault. I wasn't communicating that well enough. And it's a mistake that I hope you don't make for as long as I did, because it really held me back and it shouldn't hold you back. These days, if you look at my feed for even 1 second, you know what to expect. It's gonna be pictures of cameras, computers, laptops, technology, anything that kind of falls into that umbrella of my niche. So have a look at your own grid and ask yourself if you are communicating your core competency effectively enough for someone to understand it instantly. If you are able to nail down a niche and crush it within that niche, then I promise you that your growth will be exponential. Give this philosophy a go for 3 months, use relevant hashtags, and then look back at where your Instagram was when you first watched this video and just watch how much you grew. It takes a lot of focus and consistency, but I promise you it is worth it. That is gonna be it for today, guys. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Luis Rocha, at the Luis Rocha on Instagram. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments right now, what is your niche, or what do you want your niche to be? Please share, because I am super interested in your comments. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.